All right, hey viewers, this is WatchMeSC,
This is quill18.
And colbycheeze.
and we are bringing you Tower Dive, a League of Legends podcast. This is, I believe, the fourth or fifth week. Do you remember, Quill?
I believe it's number 4.
All right, so just a couple of quick updates for personal channels. This is, my channel is going to be slow for a little while because of just like real life stuff. The girlfriend is taking up a shitload of time, and that's quite annoying. But I can't tell her no. And then I have I have StarCraft 2. I've been playing that a lot, so that's part of the reason I haven't been posting League of Legends commentaries. And if people want me to post, I will, but I have to run my quality on the very lowest settings, so it looks like so cartoony and like worse than StarCraft 1. So if people want to see that, I guess post comments.
People are going to say yes.
I guess. I mean, if they want to see it, then that's fine. I'll post it up, but I don't know. I don't know that people need some random noob posting shitty quality StarCraft 2 commentary when there's like good quality commentary out there.
So we should do some 2v2 StarCraft. People would be way into that.
Oh, I'm down. I'm down for 2v2.
Fun times.
All right, I'll let you guys talk about your channels if anyone has any updates.
Go ahead, Colby.
Sure, yeah. So I'm new here to the podcast. I do a StarCraft 2 custom game strategies and commentaries, as well as League of Legends, and probably going to be doing some Minecraft soon as well. And you can reach me at youtube.com/colbycheeze. That's with a Z, not an S.
We'll be putting a link to that in the description so you guys can find it.
All right, sweet. But yeah, I've got a bunch of videos coming out. I just recently bought a big old brand new hard drive, $200 hard drive, which has 2 terabytes, sorry, and that's addition to the one I already had, and they're already filling up with videos. So I just have a lot of editing to do. So lots of stuff coming on the way.
Good to hear.
Excellent. I've got a handful of League of Legends videos that I'm hoping to get out this week. 1 or 2 of my own. Plus, I've got a handful of videos that people have sent in. I'm very thankful for that, and I'm hoping to get to that. And I want to finish my Civ 4 Let's Play, hopefully by the end of this week, because next week Civ 5 comes out. And when Civ 5 comes out, I make no apologies if I fall behind on my LOL videos, because that game is just going to rule my life for a little while. So awesome.
I never got into those games, but I can see how it would be quite engulfing.
Mm-hmm. It's the one more turn syndrome.
All right. Oh my God, yes. Okay, so let's move on now. We're going to talk about the patch notes. So we'll just start at the top of the patch notes. We've been going over like basically verbatim, talking about every single word for you guys, and we don't need to do that. If you guys want to do it, we can. If you really need a link to the patch notes, we'll put a link in there. Otherwise, just find the patch notes on the League of Legends website. And we'll start at the top and talk the important things. Something Colby mentioned is you can now request a trade with the other players at the end of draft mode. That's definitely a unique change. What do you think, Quill?
I think that's really awesome. There's definitely been a few games where I've been in there, and someone picks a champ, and someone else says, "Oh, I wanted such and such," and sometimes it's happened to me, and I've been like, you know what? If I pick someone and it's someone you really wanted, and it's because you're really good with that champion, I have no problem doing a trade at that point. But there wasn't really an option for it, and in these games, a lot of times people don't have a discussion beforehand. So I don't think it'll come up very often, but I think it's a nice idea.
I agree. Colby, any thoughts on it besides what we said?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been using it extensively in my team ranked games. We get up there and we have to first pick the heroes like Kog'Maw, or if we don't ban certain heroes that are really good, we'll have the leader first pick and then switch it to the person who is actually going to play it. And we do that almost every single game.
That's a good
almost
idea.
Every single game. Yeah. So I love it.
Oh, that's a good idea. So, I don't play as much ranked, so that's why it's good to have you here with your much ranked playing experience. Let's move down to Miss Fortune, and she's the next champ. She's the most recent champ added to League of Legends. Seems like they're adding one like every week now. They got a new one coming up. We'll talk about that champ next time, though. We're not going to read over her abilities, but I'll talk about her. She's basically like similar to a ranged Gangplank, but a little bit better. I think she has a lot of good range skills. Her Q is pretty annoying, and she's got a lot of area effect spells that are good for harvesting minions, getting a lot of gold that way, and she can do some pretty decent DPS. Other than that, I have never used her, so I not too familiar with her. You guys got any thoughts?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Quill? Okay.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I bought Miss Fortune. I thought she was pretty cool. What I found about her is she is a little bit of team comp dependent, unless, well, I guess depending on the skill level of your opponents. But you're going to want somebody who has some AoE lockdown, like a Galio, definitely in a Mumu, and her ultimate just destroys team fights. You can get someone like a Mumu, and then you pop down your ult, and it's just devastating. But if people are able to move out of it, it's going to hurt you kind of bad. And then she doesn't have any real escapes, so you're going to want to pick up like a Ghost and a Flash. Other than that, I think she's a really strong hero. It's just in high level play, you're going to want to make sure you have the right team comp to use her.
Yeah, I really like the fact that she's got so many AoEs because that's so good in the higher end where it's all about these big group fights. Maybe she's not so much of a big deal in the lower level, but in the 5v5 confrontation, she's just gonna be awesome. But my feeling that I get from her, and I haven't been playing her myself, is that she's just another sort of damage dealer hero, not really stand out from anyone else you might pick, so it's just sort of personal preference, maybe flavor or something like that. I don't think she brings anything unique to the table, which is fine, but I don't know. That's just where I end up with her.
Yeah, I could probably agree with that. I mean, I agree with Colby too, though. If her area effect spells can get locked in from someone like he said, exactly, a Mumu or Galio, she can definitely deal a lot of damage. But I also agree that she doesn't really stand out too much, at least to me, yet.
Maybe it's someone that you shouldn't be playing exclusively if you're solo queuing. But if you've got a team and you're built the right way, then maybe she's an awesome addition to the team.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, so moving on, we have one major change is that all movement spells can no longer be cast while rooted. So that applies to a lot of champions: Amumu's Bandage Toss, Akali's Shadow Dance, etc., etc., etc. So that's one major important thing to note, is that the root has gotten much more powerful, like a snare is basically what most of them are. Major changes are Dr. Mundo, his cleaver got major buffs, and he gets healed for half of the ability cost when it strikes its target, and he's got a lot of buffs in terms of his abilities. Ezreal seems like he got a little debuff, but I don't think... Is this a buff or a debuff? It's kind of like all over the place.
Well, what they did was they lowered his damage scaling so that he's not going to be doing just insane damage from level 1 all the way up. He's still a very strong hero, but they just toned him down just a slight bit.
Yeah, I think what happened is a few patches ago, they reduced his... Because he had two builds, right? Physical damage and magic damage. And when he originally came out, the magic build was considerably stronger, and then they went and nerfed a bunch of this magic stuff, and I think buffed some of his physical damage to compensate, to encourage people to maybe go more hybrid or to experiment more with physical. But I think they overtuned his physical side, and now they're having to dial that back again.
Yeah.
Seems about right. Malzahar got a relatively strong buff. He's been buffed, I think, the last patch, or like this patch and the patch before, if not one more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he just can't find his place. I still haven't been seeing as much of him, but his Voidling is now slightly controllable by his Malefic Visions. Whoever is affected by the most recently cast one will be the target of the Voidling. So will it ever be able to attack towers this way? Does anyone know?
Well, no, you can't, because you can't target a tower with your E-spell. You just have to hope that your Voidling... Well, you have to kill all the minions.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's no creep, it should attack, I would hope. So I think that's about it in terms of champions that are a notable buff. Flash and Teleport can no longer be cast while rooted. And I'll let someone else go over the items. Someone else want to take control of the items for now?
Well, the Spirit Visage change is a pretty big deal for certain characters. I don't remember the exact numbers that it had before, but the big thing is they've changed the passive on it so that it increases healing and regeneration effects done by yourself to yourself, which I think before it was any heals that you received, including the ones from yourself, but now it's just restricted to your own, but I believe they've buffed the numbers on it considerably. Can someone clarify that for me?
Yeah, what they did was they changed it from health regen to health, 200 health, and then 30 magic resist. And so yeah, I think it's a really strong item for like Galio or definitely Vlad. I think it's probably strongest on Vlad.
Oh yeah, it's really good on Vlad. It used to have, like you said, the mana regen, so I think the health overall is much better. And for the champions that use Spirit Visage, I don't think the effect of only occurring on yourself is not going to be that huge of a deal.
Yeah, I think actually for all those characters it's going to come out as a net buff, and I think the only thing that this might nerf is if you had a heavy healing comp like you had Soraka or Tarek or some combination like that, and then everyone was running Spirit Visage, well then you won't get that advantage anymore. Because I think some people did do that, but I don't know.
Yeah, or if you heal yourself like Mundo or Vlad.
Yeah, they're going to love it, obviously.
Oh yeah. So one thing about the Sheen, Lichbane, and Trinity Force reservoir system has been removed. It's now like a strict cooldown time. It's like every 2 seconds you can do it instead of every 3 seconds, but only twice every 6 seconds or some shit like that. So they changed it to make it much more consistent. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that confused me when I read it in the patch notes, because Sheen and Lichbane, as I recall, always had the note that there was a 3-second cooldown on the ability. But in practice, when I was running around, I seemed to get the buff every time I cast a spell, no matter how often I actually spammed it. So I was a little bit confused about that message. I didn't know about this reservoir system. I still don't know what it means, but it sounds like it's probably a good change just to balance the item more. I don't know.
Yeah, I think overall it's pretty good. It's much more easy to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Colby, you want to talk about the Mana Moon?
Oh yeah, definitely the Mana Moon. I love this item. It's new good item for physical carries. Gives you mana. I think was kind of a problem on some characters. There was no real good mana items that also were good at physical damage. Now you got the Mana Moon. It's very cost efficient. Even without all of the stacking bonus, it converts 2% of your max mana into attack damage, which at level 18 or so you'll have like 1,800 mana. So you're gonna be getting over around like 60 or so